Okay, welcome back on a late night edition of the break room. I got a wrinkled white tee. It's okay, don't judge me.
I got a wrinkled black tea. You
There
just
you
can't.
go. There you go. Girl, I had a long day. First of all, before I say girl, I want to welcome back my homie, my comrade. Like I said, someone that I value so much. I am proud of the work she's doing. I always appreciate her candor. She's so warm and sweet, and I truly appreciate her. Miss Cyn is back. Miss Cynthia, how you doing?
Good, good. And yourself?
A long day, as you know,
Yeah.
that we can't talk about. I had a long day, and I'll say this abstractly. It's always interesting. You can relate to this, I think. It's always interesting when you are the office topic of the day or the office conversation of the day.
Mhm.
And it's just like, in your head and outside these walls, your immediate walls, people are chattering and talking
Oh, yeah.
about something involving you. But in your immediate circle, people are being respectful and not really broaching it like that. And I'm gonna say this, Sin. I have the kind of temperament and style where like I want people to know, yo, if you feel like you want to talk to me about something, I am approachable. As long as you're respectful.
Hmm.
As long as you're respectful. But if you pull me to the side like, yo, this is what's going on,
But
how you
people like
feel?
to add their own razzle dazzle to stories to make it more interesting and things like that.
The telephone game. Yeah, human beings, man, that's what we are. We're a big telephone game, and I want people to know that with me, I am approachable, I'm respectful, and I always try to leave a conversation with you understanding me more. You know what I'm saying? Or hopefully I did a good job in doing that. So and I've been on the other side too, where like something's going down in the job, like, word, you see what's going on down there? Like, it's crazy, whatever. But I do care about that person and what they're going through in that moment because I hate to see good people, regardless, feel weird or insecure in the moment or feel like they're in a bind or embarrassed or whatnot. Not that I was today. I wasn't,
Everybody
but
handles things differently.
yeah, yeah. But that was my day more or less. But we were talking earlier and you said you have a question for me to open up the episode. What is that question?
Yes. So I was on Instagram the other day and someone posted, no, it was actually a reel. And it was like a reel of a couple going into the car. And then the girlfriend goes up front to the passenger seat. And then the boyfriend is like, no, like my mom is coming. So she sits in the front. And then they just basically started going back and forth. So my question to you, Mike, is in that situation, who drives shotgun? You have a wife. So your wife or your mom?
I know what the answer is supposed to be.
But what does that mean? Supposed to be.
I'm a little weird and a little different, so bear with me when I say this. I might say the wrong answer, but I don't mean it. The right answer is what I mean. I would absolutely have my wife in the passenger seat, regardless. So Jesus could fly down and need a ride to the
See, but I
gas station.
agree with that.
Jesus, you get in the back seat. Jesus, he learned all. That's cool. That's fine. My wife's in front. That's just the rule. That's what it is. But what I will say is, and I sometimes I feel not disappointed, but I feel like with women is with this question because I've heard it before. I wish some women would understand why a guy might choose his mother in the passenger seat for other reasons. For instance, not because he's a mama's boy, but because he knows his mama has a certain condition with her body, her leg is whatever, or she's older and more frail now, and she needs more care. And you're still young and viral and virile, and you're more limber. You don't need the front space and the leg room like she does. There is that aspect that some men do still carry. Like some men are such gentlemen that they not only prioritize their wife, they prioritize people who are smaller than them or weaker than them. And there is a gentleman
But wouldn't
aspect
the
to it too,
smaller and
to the
weaker
question.
person go in the back though? Because for instance,
It
like
depends.
babies.
Go ahead.
Babies cannot be in the front because they're small and fragile, yada yada. They have to cut the back is safer. So if you have a mom that's like weak or whatever and fragile, like shouldn't then she go to the back?
It depends on the vehicle. Sometimes the back seat
Well,
is like
true,
smaller
true.
space than the front. It depends. It depends. Like, listen, every dude, just do your wife or your girlfriend. It is what it is. Like, need to shut up. Like, stop whining about it. It is what it is. So the right answer is your partner. But I don't mind seeing men still prioritize their mother strongly in their life. I know women wrestle with the idea of, is this guy a mama's boy? Is he baby? Is he pampered? And a lot of men are. guys, a lot of you are pampered and you never were pushed to be an
So I think that's
independent
my
man.
problem because of
All
like,
right.
I don't want to use the word trauma, but I guess trauma. I was in a relationship where the guy was a mama's boy and the mom would always try to run me and the relationship. So because of that's why I'm like, no, like I'm never gonna let that happen.
Made him a mama's boy. Or what are the characteristics of a mama's boy? To put it
Always
more
running to
general.
their mom for everything and anything, small and big, instead of just trying to figure it out for themselves. And also involving the
'Cause,
mom in the relationship situations, like whether it's good or bad, that they're always like letting the mom know what happens.
I agree. Some things should be sacred and you shouldn't involve your family and your partner business because they're with you for life. Your family, though they should be. And they'll be biased. So they're not credible people to give you
Yeah,
a
and for
fair
instance, like if
counsel.
they vent to them
Not
about
all listen.
something, they could take it a completely different way because of their own, like you said, biases and traumas and interpretations of things. And now they're gonna look at you and treat you differently based off of what, he said to her. And it wasn't even like that. The mom just took it that way. But now she feels a type of way with you because, she was told whatever.
I agree. I agree. I agree. I hear it's a lot from women that they are frustrated with a lot. And I'm like, damn, there's that many mama's boys out there. Damn, like you know, I had a loving, I have a loving mother myself, and she definitely took care of me growing up. She made sure I had the flies clothes. She took pride in styling me and stuff. But she also would love to embarrass me. And when I say embarrass me, I don't mean play. I mean like if I was acting a fool or acting up outside around my friends, she would love to relish in the moment of breaking me down in front of them to let them know like you're not God's gift. And it seems like a lot of dudes are walking around with like they think they're God's gift, and their mom never checked them. They're only indulged in it and add to it. And I feel terrible for women who go through the dating pool of that. I have a thing about my mom and my sister, especially my sister, where like I can't refuse them. I cannot refuse them. My sister could be like, I cannot refuse my sister, and that may be problematic in general. I don't think my wife really cares. But when I was dating, some girls maybe found it funny. But like as a younger brother of a sister that's 4 years older than me, I always idolized her. And I always felt bad for her because she was a sister who was the firstborn. So she took a lot of the brunt of, tough parenting. You know what I'm saying? So I always had a soft spot for her. So to this day, if she needs
Yeah,
something from
you've
me,
always
I
told me
will
that.
drop what I'm doing and just yeah, and I make no apologies about it too. I'm very arrogant about it. Like I don't give a fuck. That's my sister. Like it is what it is. And I had a friend of mine who passed away in 2014. She was killed by her boyfriend, her baby father. And I watched how she had a bunch of siblings. We grew up together, and I watched how her older brother, who used to be a playful bully, like flick you in your ear, give you a noogie. He was that older brother type, bully you, but with love, tough love. I watched his demeanor change when his sister, rest in peace, Shannon, when she was murdered. Like,
For sure.
he don't have that same, yeah, it's like shrunken now. And it's like, so I see what loss can do, especially loss of a sister can do to a man. And I'm just like, listen, I kind of take the time to cherish my mom and my sister because, you know, I think a woman's journey can offer you so much, especially when it comes to endurance. Women are asked to endure a lot. You're a single mother, whatever, that's normal. Endure for the next 18 years. He'll rain out on you, whatever. You'll be all right. You'll bounce back. Women are asked to endure. So there's a certain strength that you guys carry unfairly. And I try to learn from that. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause a lot of men are weak on the flip side. A lot of men will,
Okay.
run when they see a mouse. You know what I'm saying? Like they, like if their girl or if their woman, I'm sorry, shows some independence and like God forbid she's her own sexual creature, they'll get insecure and shut down and whatever. So a lot of men are weaker than women emotionally. So for that reason, I've always valued my mom and sister where like I wanted to make sure that they know that I'm down for them. But like you said, there's a fine line between being a good brother or son or being
Yeah,
a
because you like
mama's boy
I'm
who's
not taking that
problematic.
away from you, like when it comes to your mom and sister. But then how about how your wife feels? And just in general, like not just Kia.
No, 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 no. I know you're supposed to be taking care of your castle. You made a new castle with a new family, with a new person, with a new partner. Even if you have no kids or nothing, and you're not married. If you breaking bread and rent and the bills with a new partner, that's your teammate. That's your number one teammate, and she has to know that when you're in the foxhole together, you got her back. You know what I'm saying? And firstly, because she's invested in you. So investment is key here. And at some point, your mom is still emotionally invested in you, but otherwise, you have your own responsibilities away from her, especially if you moved out. But I get it. But I, I um, I I do wish I wish some women who are in the dating scene they recognize that some men are innate protectors, and also they didn't get a good job by both parties, men and women. They didn't get a good job growing up of being nurtured enough to and properly nurtured, not pacified, not spoiled, but properly nurtured to then not need mama's titty no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're doing a bad job raising men as a community, which then turns them into mama's boy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you need too much tough love, but there's a balance that we don't participate in. You know what I'm saying? So, um, but yeah, I know it's long. That's a long-winded answer. um, but yeah, I feel you. I mean, listen, I was talking to person A earlier. I'll say person A. Um, and person A was telling me how like, Mike, where's all the providers? Where are all the providers? A lot of men today aren't providers. And I asked person A, how do you define a provider? And she couldn't give me a clear, like thorough answer, but it kind of centered around the idea of like, I need a man who's gonna make sure that like he can hold me down with some
But
discretionary
I feel like
funds. Like,
that's your
I
own
mean, I'll take care of my
responsibility.
hair and nails
Like
and
you should want to upkeep
but
yourself. Like why would you depend on a man to do that for you when that's something you should already be doing?
I think person A represents some people out there, and in this context, women who feel like on a small, even if it's a small level, because person B was talking like this to me later on, that on some level, a man should be like steadily like showing romance through like gifts and surprises
Right,
and
and that still
curation
doesn't have any
and all that entails
emotional
money.
value
All
to
that
it. That's just
entails
material stuff.
well, this is why I get along with you, Cynthia, because you are very spiritually tapped in with your humane side. Not saying person A or B or other people aren't. Maybe it comes in other ways. But you are someone who's spiritual and you have the gift to see someone for who they are, not what they can provide. And I think what you say makes sense. Like it should be about the human, about the inside. But some people feel like, yo, I need to be entertained too. Life is hard. If you're gonna take me out or we're gonna be together and I'm gonna do things for you, whether it's cooking for you, giving you sex, which first of all, I hate when women say that, like, I gave you sex. It's like, you like sex too. But I think some women feel like there should be a
Mm.
transactional situation going on with our relationship. Or you should be spoiling me a little bit. Because person B was like, yeah, I have a new guy and it's all good and it's going great. But I have to realize he's not like my ex in the fact where my ex, he was a dirt bag through and through. He's a dirt bag.
That's exactly
But he
why.
would
When they
shower me with
shower you
gifts,
with all
shower
those
me
things,
with,
is because they're trying to
excursions and
keep a
stuff like that.
blind eye. Like they're trying to distract you from what they're actually doing. So they could give you gifts, they could do this, they could do that. And it's really so you could kind of be blinded to what they're actually doing behind the scenes. That's why all of that doesn't really mean anything to me. I mean, don't get me wrong. Of course, I want to be spoiled. Every girl wants to be spoiled. But I need more than that because again, they could give you all of these things and still be an asshole or still be doing their dirt. So it's like, then what's the point of all of these gifts? Now these gifts mean absolutely nothing.
And I'm glad you mentioned that the way you worded it, because for person A, we had a discussion where the idea was, would you rather be with the prototypical hustler, whether legal or illegal, always getting his money, always on his grind, always focused on progressing with his finances, but he may not have the skills to be attentive to you, to be alert to you, to be in tune with your emotions. to be courteous about your union with him. He just focused on showering you with gifts, but moving his life. Or do you want the guy? And she was like, no, the guy who's sharing 50 on bills and finances and stuff, but he's there for you. He connects with you. He cares about you. And some women, including those two I was talking about, they struggle with letting go of the first guy because even though he's not there for you, even though he cheats on you, even though he is not a good partner per se,
It just sounds like they don't
he
wanna
hold it.
hustle for theirs. They just
He
want everything to
provides.
be
That word
handed to them.
provides is such a huge word that we hear. Yeah, that's I can't say that as a dude because they'll say, "Nah, Mike, that's not what it is." But some men feel this way. Like Sin, let me real quick. Let me deviate a little bit. This is a new phenomenon going on, and there's data to back it up.
Because of that reason.
A lot of men are not pursuing women no more. They're not dating as much. Yeah, they're not having sex even. They're not drinking. They're not going to bars to socialize. A
Because
lot of
that's
men
their safe
are
haven, because
pulling
even
back
now, if they
and
go
they're on
out to the
Call of
bar to
Duty
have a
all
drink
day
or 2,
long,
and
or
then
they're
they try to
just
kick it to a
they
female
rather
or they take a female, now they have to be buying this person drinks after drinks after drinks, and now they just blew all their money just for this girl to give them some type of attention. And it's like, for what? Because then when you actually get to know the person, it's like, yo, I don't even like this girl. Now I just blew all this money for what? And then they're gonna keep expecting that too.
yeah. I mean, I was that young guy. It's 2025 now, but in '05, I was working at Home Depot, 18-year-old going on 20. Me and my boys after work would go to Hula Hands in Jersey and go to a bar. And it can get expensive, buying a girl down the bar a drink or two or three or four or five, and she's still like, "All right, well, I'll see you later. I'm going home." It's like, what? Oh, I thought we had a good conversation. I thought we were gonna exchange numbers. I guess not. Whatever. So there is a risk, a financial risk when you're a man out there in the dating scene. You have to know as a dude, if you're outside trying to date, make sure your bread is up because it costs to date. It costs. And a lot of men today seem to be rejecting that
That's
cost.
their
Say, you know
bread.
what? What's the point? I could be my own silo, my own couch, my own headphones, talk to my boys all day, and I save money. And there's a shrinkage going on with populations, and not just in America. Korea, I saw alarming rates all over the place. There's a lot of people are not connecting no more, and I feel bad to see that because I feel like there are women out there who deserve love, and they deserve connection. But I feel like some men today are so scarred about the former process of attaining love that they're pulling back. And some of these dudes,
Well,
not for nothing,
also,
y'all, are
well,
being whinies about
sure,
it too.
yeah. But also,
Like
I will say that
they're
like
being like
everything now is super
they're being
expensive.
passive princesses.
So it's like you should be able to also provide for your man too. Cause how is that fair? So you just expect for a man to pay for your hair, pay for your nails, pay for new sneakers, pay for your clothes, pay all the bills, and what are you providing? Just sex? Like they could go to get a freaking prostitute, pay for sex, get whatever they need to get, and that's it, and then be over and done with it.
Yeah, I think if sex work, I always jokingly say, if sex work was real, or if a third gender came down from the sky, or an alien came down from the sky and offered males another alternative, women, you might see a shrinkage of the dating pool even more. Because I would say that when I was a man, a bachelor, it was hard trying to figure women out. There's a lot of pressure that I don't think men speak enough about when it comes to trying to curate romance, trying to cultivate romance. Damn, did I do the right thing there? Damn, did
See,
she fuck with that?
and the sad thing
Damn,
is
did she
that
like that
there are
restaurant?
a
Oh no,
lot
did I
of
say the wrong
ways
thing
to
there?
be
Did I stumble?
romantic that
Did I
doesn't
stutter? Oh
cost
my gosh.
much. But
Am I,
then if they
and
was to do that, the female will still complain like, "Oh, look at this cheap guy," or "He don't got money," and try to like play them. And there's a lot of videos that I've seen on Instagram and stuff of like, for instance, I saw a guy went to take a girl to Starbucks like as a first date, and she was like recording him like trying to play him like, "Oh, look at this bum dude." Da, da, da. And it's like, why should a guy take you to a five-star restaurant off rip? Like, that don't make no sense. Like, I wouldn't do that if I'm a guy. Like, I don't, so we're gonna go get ice cream
mm,
and have a conversation. Let me see where your mind is at. Let me see how intellectual you are. Let me see if you can hold a conversation. Let's see, like, what depth you have in order for me to want to take you to a five-star restaurant.
I agree. I agree. A woman is an investment. If in the context of dating, a good woman is an investment. So like when you are in a risky investment, when you're taking a woman out, you need to make sure that like she's worth your time, worth your energy, worth your gas, worth your money, and that you see a potential return on the investment down the line. That's the wish. That's the whole guy is going through. And let me tell you, ladies, a guy is, if he really likes you, he's driving himself crazy trying to make sure he don't fuck this up. So he's making sure like he looks good, he feels good about himself, that he has the right words, that he's paying attention. And, I want scarred women who have some legit gripes on why they're scarred. I want them to either A, widen their swimming pool to make sure they're not
Mhm.
missing out on good gems, and also have a little more grace with men who really mean to be a mate. And I
Yeah,
feel
I've been caught up
like
just like that
ladies,
too.
yes, some men are just actors that you thought they were good men, but they were scumbags. Fuck them and fuck them. I'm sorry. I apologize for them. But I'll also
Or,
say
he doesn't
sometimes,
actually
ladies,
want you, he
there's men
doesn't
out
wanna
there that
be
you
with
have
you,
around
he's
on your
not
roster,
literally showing you
you
no
know he's
effort,
not
and yet you're still trying to pursue
prepared
him.
for
If a man
ser
really wants you, he's going to show you. But, a lot of times females think, "Oh, if I do this or that for him, maybe he'll start liking me and this and the third." And it's like, bro, if he don't like you off
absolutely.
rip, he's not gonna like you. He's only gonna like you for what you could do for him, and then he's just gonna keep taking advantage of that. The same way how women do it too.
You can't negotiate effort and you can't negotiate desire. And usually with effort and desire, we'll see that dude really wants you. On the flip side too, I saw a video the other day of this TikToker. I think he's a TikToker. He had this like breakdown of like fellas, how you
Mhm,
know a woman loves you or likes you. And the stuff he was saying, I was like, I know what he's talking about. Because he was saying stuff like, if a woman starts using your slang, then you know she fucks with you. If a woman starts watching the movies you watch, you know she fucks with you. If she is just randomly checking up on you, you know she fucks with you. And I always was elated when I would see signs that, oh, she really is digging me, because what she just told me, how for me a big indicator was like touch. If I was with a woman and I thought she liked me
mhm.
but I wasn't sure, and she put her leg over mine,
Yeah, those are indicators.
or she kind of like laid on me a little bit in a certain way, I'd be like, wait a minute. I think I'm doing good here. Let me not fuck this up. Yeah. And I think that part of being a romantic, I would tell men, is being open to receiving those indicators, being open to receive a woman. Like, you know, part of like romance is not just like flowers or roses and big expensive like grand gestures. Romance can be isolating and recognizing an individual thing that's important to her and growing it. You know what I'm saying? And giving it back to her in a creative way. That's romance to me. It's the little things, and I feel like as a society, we are, men and women, we are straying away so much from each other. We are ignoring the little things that we all want to be appreciated about each other. You know what I'm saying? To me, Cyn, you're an artist. You're a makeup person and cosmetics and all that stuff. You have a talent in that. And you have a talent just for good art and perception. If a dude's dating you, he should know after a while, like, okay, this is her bag. This is her thing. This is her passion. How can I inject myself into it and let her know that I appreciate her wonder in that? You know what I'm saying? That curiosity in humanity, we've lost it in all of us. We're just like, we're so overworked. We're so pressured. We're so broke. We're so scarred from our past, our traumas, that we're not willing to like rise above inner bickering and, sort of do the whole Christ-like thing of like, yo, how you doing today? And yo, I really appreciate who you are as a person and
Yeah.
shit like that. We don't give grace no more to each other. So that's why I see the dating pool getting peed on. It's because no one has time for each other and nice to each other, or not just nice, but kind. Because to me, there's a difference between nice and kind. You could be
I have
nice,
an
which is
agenda.
performative, or you could be kind, which is
For
spiritual.
instance,
You
like
know what I'm saying?
females just wanting to find somebody
And
that's
no
gonna
one's
pay
kind
for
no more.
everything
Everybody is just
and just
mean and upset.
provide them with everything and
But
anything
I
that they
have an
want.
agenda. I have an agenda. Yeah, yeah. I could agree with that. Seen that. I've seen young men be frustrated by that.
Wait, win what fight?
This is gonna sound fucked up, but I try to tell guys, honestly, you're not gonna win that fight. So you might as well just suck it up and get your hustle on. I don't force the fight of convincing the average woman that just his talent, his personality, and character is enough. That you don't need bells and whistles to try to like coax her into going out with you. Bro, she wants those bells and whistles, at least a little bit, at least at first. You know what I'm saying? Now, there's been dudes out there who threw it down so well that for the rest of the next 10 years, he could be in sweats all day long and he still got it like that. But you're not that dude. You know what I'm saying? That's a rare person. You know what I'm saying? Or you're not that dude for that woman. That's another thing, Sin. A lot of people are out there chasing above their weight class or above their bracket. You know, like you want a Kim K model, but you're not
Yeah,
Kim
and
K
usually
minded
when
and you're
that
not
happens
Kim
too,
K
they
world.
end
Like
up
you're
draining
more
each other because
insecure and you're
then
worried
one
about,
person wants to
you
change
know,
the
what
other
makeup she's wearing
person
and
and
who's her
bring
friend at
them
the
down to
table. Like
their
you're
level,
not a
and
Kim K
then
person.
that's
You know what I'm saying?
where things go left.
Right. I've seen it. We hear these stories all the time about women who are professionals and women who have made money or are hustlers at least, or are even just around a lot of men in dominated male fields. A lot of dudes have problems with that. They're insecure about their woman stature amongst industry, personnel, gender, or they're insecure about the money that they're not making compared to their woman. And you know, it's up to men. I think personally, it's up to men to ultimately just like suck it up a little bit because you're not going to win the battle
But it's
of
like
trying to
I said, it's
convince the average
because
woman
they're not with the
that
woman that's meant
you're
for
enough.
them. Because the woman
It
that's
sounds
meant
messed
for
up. It
them
sounds like
isn't, they're gonna
it
take them
sounds
for who
grim
they
to say
are.
that out loud, but I just think that ultimately you're right. Ultimately, you are right because you know styles make fights, and there is someone out there for you. Do I believe in the concept of soulmate? I'm not saying that, but there is someone out there for you who fits you. You know what I'm saying? If you're a GameStop chick, and you know, go find you a GameStop dude. If you a bougie, I gotta be downtown for dinner, with a gown on. You need a dude who wears a tux all day. You know what I'm saying? That's just your styles are your styles. And I feel like we also are being stubborn and saying, "Ooh, I like that style," even though it's not for me all the time. I'm gonna try to attain that style, even though it might blow up in my face one day. And we as human beings, we love to like tempt ourselves with a cookie jar. You know what I'm saying? That cookie's not for me, but I'm gonna still try to put my
It's
hand in it.
To me,
Why?
I
I
feel
don't
like
know.
is the
Maybe a lot
rush
of us
of
are
like,
born
I
with greed.
guess,
You know what I'm
adrenaline,
saying?
or like
And
the
we're not
power
taught
behind
to
it. Because it's
eat
like,
what
oh,
is
like I want to see that I
for
could
us.
do this, or it's like a battle within themselves. Weird. I don't know if I'm explaining.
Hmm.
Yes.
No, no, you're right. I want to ask you a question, a general question about PR because you saw Bad Bunny last month, right? Okay. First of all, shout out to you because those tickets were crazy. I'm sure. First of all, when I saw your mom earlier this month, I had to tell her how much your grandmother, her mother, is beautiful. I saw a
It
picture you
was,
posted of you and your grandmother. Can you tell me what it was like to go
how
back to
can I
PR
say?
to see
Like
your
I
grandmother
felt
and just to be
light,
back in a spiritual home? What
but
was that
like
like for you?
in the best way possible. Like I needed that reminder to remember that I have something so precious and special on that island, besides everything else that I love about that island. She's the most special thing I have there. So, taking that 2-hour drive to go see her for the day, it was everything I needed to feel whole because I haven't seen her in almost 10 years. That's how long it's been. Yes, because the last two times I went to PR, I just stood in San Juan. I didn't really go to that side of the island to go see her. But this time, because it's been so long, I
Really?
made sure I rented a car to go see her. And I needed that. Yeah.
Good, good. I'm glad. I'm glad. Lately in the last year or two, you've been doing a few
I
spiritual
liked it.
trips abroad. You did a
I knew it
Colombia,
wasn't gonna
I
be
think, last
something
year, and this
like
year you did
his Un
PR.
Verano Sin Ti
What was the
concert,
Bad
because
Bunny
that
show
was
like?
just
What was
like
that like?
straight lit, straight party type of album or whatever. This one, it was more cultural, more about the island and, putting shine on what's going on. So I knew it wasn't gonna be like party the whole time type of thing. But I enjoyed it. It was dope. It brought a lot of recognition to the island, on so many levels. And that's what made it like so great to me. Oh, you gotta
I
go.
was jealous when because I remember you telling me you were going out there, but when you went, and I saw you were there. I'm like, oh man, I'm so jealous because I've been dying to go all my life to PR. Never been, never been. But I know, I know. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna make sure I go there before I check out, which is years from now. But yeah, I was jealous, but I was happy jealous because whenever I see you travel, I feel like I'm vicariously living your travel through you because like I said, because you're a humanist, because you're spiritual, because you're cultural, I know you're not just wilding out partying. You actually are intrigued by your surroundings and your environment, and you actually care about taking it all in. So I respect that about you, and I'm happy for you that you went. I'm happy for you.
I plead the fifth.
Is it? Are you? Should I ask? Are you? Are you? Are you? Are you? What's the way? What's the? I don't want to dry snitch. Are you? You played the fifth. Well, I would say hypothetically, I do wonder, is it weird if someone is dating and going on a trip? Like, let's say I was single, right? Or I was dating. I wonder, I'm trying to
It
think
depends
back
on
in my
how much
memory.
you respect and
If I
like
was
the
ever dating
person.
somebody, but
If
not
you genuinely like
official,
that person
and I
and
was going on a
respect them
trip,
and you
do
just
I
you
feel,
like the vibe of what's
did I feel
going on,
beholden to follow
you could be
certain
chilling and having
rules
a great
and
time without
whatnot?
doing all that extra shit. Like all that extra shit doesn't equal having the best time ever. A lot of the time I've had the best times ever didn't involve those type of things.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think when you go away, you should be focused on more than just, being outside partying. Don't get me wrong. But I do wonder, like, hmm, I do wonder, like, if you're dating somebody, but it's not exclusive yet, you're not exclusive. And I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about in general. Is it a struggle to like
Okay, I will
tame
say,
yourself and
okay,
by not
so
fully
I'm
exploring
gonna tell you a
yourself
story.
on an island or
The
wherever? So
first time I ever
I was
went to
thinking out loud,
Vegas,
you know what I'm
I
saying?
was
Me,
in a
I'm a married man.
relationship.
So listen, I go down the street, I
And,
gotta make sure
I
I'm
had a good
following the
time, but
rules.
we didn't
You know what I'm
party. We
saying?
didn't do anything of that nature. Like we weren't because I went with a friend and her parents or whatever. But we still did things. We still went out, just not all of that crazy stuff. And also I wasn't really into that because like I was in a relationship, so I wanted to be respectful. Because what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But I really didn't do that. But then when I got out of that relationship, I was like, all right. I need to redo Vegas and do Vegas the right way. So then I went a second time. And then that time I had a fucking blast. Partied every single day I was out there. And the last day, we partied so hard, and we said we wasn't gonna party, but we partied so hard that we
Mm,
almost missed our flight because we went back to the hotel and we were like, all right, like let's
getting
at least
black.
take a 2 hour nap. And that 2 hour nap was that we had to freaking run out of that hotel room and they were literally calling like, all right, last calls to board. That's when we got in. So we literally made it within like a 5 minute break type of thing. If not, the doors would have closed, but it was worth it. It was worth it.
God.
No, we had carry on, because it was like a weekend thing. Yeah, but it was dope. Yeah, that time I went with one other girlfriend, so it was just us two. So walking on the strip, the
That was
promoters from
partying.
the
That
clubs
was
were around or
partying.
whatever.
I
So
think I
one of
remember
them
you
had
saying something
stopped
like that to
me,
me before too.
and
I
he
think
was
I
like,
remember you
"Oh,
telling me that.
I'm the promoter from
That's
this spot,
funny.
whatever, whatever. Like, I just need your name, blah blah blah." So he put my name down, but what he did was he
mm,
put me in for like 4 spots, VIP. So we didn't have to wait on no line for none of the spots I went to. Yeah, it was a time.
shit, shit. Oh, you were. That's that. That's that woman thing, man. You got a little bit of curve, a little bit of smile, you gonna get in. Dude is like your ball, get the back. Yo, that's crazy. Let me ask you a question. It's late September now. You're a Libra. I'm a Scorpio, so we're fall babies.
Literally, yeah.
I'm turning the big four. I'm turning a new decade in my life. As we embark on a new birthdays, me and you, and we're both a month apart. I think
This
you're the
year.
seventh. You're October 17th. I'm November 17th. Where do you foresee this birthday going? And I don't mean the actual date, but this next year
So
for you.
as
Where do
of
you see it?
now, I
Yeah,
have been
coming
thinking
out
about my birthday and
this
stuff and
new
what I
year
want
for
to
you.
do.
Where do you see it
And
going?
I see
And what do you
myself
want out of
and
it?
I feel myself just like going into more because I've always been in my me mode, but more so in my me mode because, like, I've had a change at work and, I'm completely away from a lot of things. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm happier because I'm literally out the way, out of sight, and just focusing on myself. I'm not worried about what anybody else is doing. I'm just worried about what I'm doing. And I'm in a space where I just want to protect my energy even more. So I'm just like in my bubble and I don't want to be bothered. I don't want to be disturbed. I don't want to know what you're doing. Don't ask me what I'm doing. That's
Yeah. It's all love. God bless you. I'm doing my thing. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that because you've spoken
change is
to me about
necessary for growth.
evolution. and about the idea of just, shaking up where you are to do something different to see how you react to it. And change can be good. Change can be good, absolutely. And growth and evolution is part of life. And I commend you and applaud you for taking the reins
They're
of your
afraid of change, so they
journey
don't.
and saying, you know what, it's time for a change. Let me try this. Let me try that. And I think that's brave. And the reason why I say brave, there's a lot of people out there, Sin, who are just remaining stagnant in their woes, and they stay in their woes. They stay in their sorrow. They stay in what they know, and they cope with whatever mechanisms they have to help them with that. But instead of doing the easier thing, you would think is to just say, you know what, I'm done with this. Let me move on. Andre 3000 has this lyric where he goes, "It's easier to run in the street than to walk in the sand." And I think what he means by that is sometimes it's easier to do the hard thing, not realizing that it's going to have like more effects on you later on versus just walking in the stand and taking the peaceful route. So like, sometimes we are doing things that we think in the moment are benefiting us, but really we're just self-medicating and prolonging the real journey down the line, when really you just start the journey now and it's easier. And I think you're someone who I've always been impressed by because you're always willing to start a journey or to learn something new. And I want you to keep that with you in this next year of yours. I'm always excited for the fall, partially for your birthday,
I do too. I
because
feel it.
I like seeing you grow. And I have seen you grow. From the first time I've seen you to us working together and to me building with you and knowing you, I've always been impressed with you. And I think that I think you're gonna have a good year. I think you're gonna have a good year. I think so. I think so. I have people around you who were curious about you, that I'm fond of, that I love. And I made sure, like, no, I was like, yo, Sid is an awesome person. And I made sure, like, I
Mhm.
told said people, this is a person that's credible, that's good to work with, that cares. And I told her, I told that person, you'll notice after a while, like, oh, this is a cool ass chick. I'm like, okay. And
Yeah, and see
I feel
for
like
yourself, because a lot
this
of
goes
times
back to
too,
the whole
like,
thing I
people
said
will
earlier
put
about
things in
silo.
people's
We
ears
have to start getting out
for
of our silos
whatever
of
agenda they
just
have.
what we thought about somebody, what we thought we heard about somebody, and not rubbing shoulders with them like, "Oh, you really are a cool motherfucker." And, okay, and yeah, and mind you, and you know what's crazy? Sometimes, I would rather
Yeah, I
have
understand
that
what you
even
mean.
where it's a devious reason why you misunderstand me versus sometimes it's the other thing where like the wrong thing was said by accident or had a bad mood that day or things were misconstrued and that's it. There's been no opportunity to fix it or to, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes the sleight of hand or the blink of an eye or the wrong second produce a different outcome than what would happen 10 seconds later. You know what I'm saying? So, it's important to give each other grace because grace allows you to say, hold up, maybe I'm bugging here. Let me be fair and give this person a shot here. And I try to preach that out loud and to people personal to me in my life. So, I preach that message and I think that message has been felt, I'll say. Nevertheless, I always root for you. I always root for you. And I always appreciate you because you keep it real, Sid. You be keeping it real. And I like what you said
Yeah,
about how
space.
like
Sometimes you need
I'm not worried
space
about you.
from
I'm doing my
people,
thing. I
from
don't care, whatever.
environments, from
Because, you know,
whatever toxic thing you got going
not a lot
on,
of
and
people
just,
who are hurting, and I'm not
give
saying you're
yourself that
hurting,
time. Because
but
then
not a lot of
when you
people who
do
are
those
hurting
things, then you reflect and
advocate for
you're like,
themselves to
wow,
give each
like,
other selves breaks,
that really made me be that type of
Yeah,
person.
space.
And that's not the type of person I want to be, or I didn't even see myself becoming that person or being that person.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's always hard to like self-regulate or self-analyze because, that means we gotta like really like address some things about ourselves like I'm slacking here, or I'm slacking there. For me personally at this time, it's like for me it's not necessarily nutrition, but just the effort for fitness. I'm very inconsistent right now and I know in my head like, yo, even though it's late or even though it's like 8 o'clock, I finally have some free time to myself. I should get up and just do a mile of running or go to the gym for a late night
And
session.
I'm
But
happy saying that, because to
I get
piggyback
complacent
off of
sometimes,
that, like,
or I make
I
excuses.
feel like I
So
needed my
even
space
I
with a lot of
recognize that
things
like
because
I gotta
people
work on
would
my
put
evolution
their
and I gotta push myself
responsibilities
further
onto me.
because no
And
one
it's
else will
like,
save me.
your
You know what I'm saying? It has to
responsibilities
be
are not my
on me
problem,
to do
nor
what I
are
gotta
they
do for
my
myself.
responsibilities. Like, I got my own shit going on that I need to worry about. and I just can't do this. Like, one, is not fair to me, and two, you're messing yourself up because you're not
Mm,
taking responsibility for the things that you need to take care of. Instead, you're trying to put it on me, and then if I say no or whatever the case may be, now you're trying to, make me out to be the bad guy. All because I don't want to do your responsibilities. No, I was never the way I am now. And that's why
let
I
me let
am
me
the way
ask
I
you,
am now
and
because I
I
got
agree with
tired
you,
of all of
first of
that
all.
bullshit.
Let me ask you, was there ever a time in your life where you felt like you weren't as good as turning people away or saying no? Or did you always have that in you? Yeah, yeah. I'll say that I witnessed you be a good friend to people. I witnessed you be a rider to people. And
I
I
feel like
feel like I would
eventually
witness you
a lot of
be
people
someone who
take it
would
for
always
granted
be
at
up for the
some point.
challenge of friendship.
Whether it could be
And we're always
small
down to
or
like,
something big,
you
but
know,
like that's why you
do for others.
can't be
And
so nice.
dare I say, maybe some people took it for
Can't be
granted,
so good
maybe,
sometimes because again, then people start taking advantage.
Nah, yeah. And isn't that a shame, Isn't it a shame, like, um, that it's human nature to take kindness for weakness and to not appreciate it? Last week on a news scale, we saw an assassination on television or on your phones and stuff. And listen, I don't care how much you may disagree with someone on their beliefs, on their perspectives on life, etc. If someone is brutally murdered or hurt or injured and they have a family that's gonna lose them or whatnot, at some point you gotta say to yourself, listen, human is human. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And at some point we gotta like at least be kind to each other or else this whole institution will never work. And when I say institution, I mean like just like being socially connected as human beings. Like I'm a big firm believer that it doesn't matter
But
what
that's
we
the
disagree
problem.
upon,
There's a
sin.
lot of
Like it's
people
my
that if you don't
responsibility
agree
to
with
make sure
them,
you feel safe
that they
around
want to
me. You know what I'm
shame
saying?
you or bash
And I
you or
sh-
make you out
and
to
I
be the
shouldn't
villain.
impose
And
my
it's like, just because I
beliefs
don't agree with
on
you,
you
like that's
to try to
so
win one over
ridiculous
on
and
you because
ignorant. Like
that
everyone is
involves
entitled to
ego,
their
and
own
ego has
opinion.
no place
Everyone is
in human
entitled to feel the
connection.
way they feel, how they feel, whenever they feel it. And you can't take offense to that. The same way how you feel, nobody can be mad. So like it's just crazy to me how people want to feel the way they feel, but if you feel another way, they feel inferior to you that they're like, "Oh no, you're no good or you're the bad one or whatever."
Right, right, right.
Mhm.
They get on their high horse. They wag their finger. They make it seem like that you're less than, like you said, inferior, or that you're not as or moral as them. Like there's this high and mighty tone that comes with, my opinion is better than yours, and that's not that spirit means you're not in the spirit of learning from each other. Whenever I meet somebody who has various varying opinions about
But that's
whatever
because
with
you're
me,
an open-minded
what I
person
try to
and
do
you're
is I always
open
try to
to that. There's people that
like
aren't.
try to gain insight on why they feel that way. So like I get more wonders about their background, about their journey, about what led them to this opinion, what experiences did they have that made them come to this conclusion. And yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, and I feel like even me aside, I feel like we're just losing as humans the ability to embrace each other. It's like I said earlier, we're just so caught up in our egos. Our egos have been dominating our compassion for years now. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I try to keep you close to me. I try to reach out to you, Sin, and I try to make sure that you're at arm's length because you're the last of you're the last of the Mohicans. You're a rare
Conversation's
breed
getting
of
juicy.
people
That's
who
why.
can have this empathy and have this compassion, still with the confidence of a difference of opinion. So I appreciate that about you. But I mind you, it's mad late, but I'm still riding with you. I know, right? I know, right?
I
I wanna
remember
ask you, because like I said, I'm turning 40, and you know, in 2022, I had a colonoscopy where they found, I think it was 2022, where they found a polyp. It could have been cancerous, so they got rid of it. Yep. And you remember, like, I just read about this girl. She's a gamer. She's like some like TikTok gamer, a streamer. She was 21 years old and she died today from colon cancer. I'm just like 21 years old. What I'm about to ask you is, whether it was Chadwick Boseman, he was 43, like the Black Panther, when he died of cancer, and, a lot of people are dying early in life, it's just in general. Have you had this thing in your life
I
yet
do think about
where
it,
you wonder about your
but
mortality? Where you
it's
wonder
kinda I feel
about,
like when you start thinking about that, not that it's
your
dark,
not
but
just
it is
your
kinda
mortality,
dark.
but
It's a dark
what
space
happens
to
next to
think
you,
because it's
what happens
inevitable.
next
It's gonna
around you, what
happen.
happens in the
So,
aftermath of your
that's why
presence.
you have to
Like, have you
live
had
life
that
every
question
day.
about
And,
mortality
like,
yet, or you just living in
sometimes I
life?
mean, sometimes I do OD, but, like, there be days where, like, for instance, I don't wanna cook, and I'm like, "Damn, like, do I really wanna go out and spend money on food when I could just cook something?" But then I'm like, "But then if I cook something, I gotta season the meat and then do this and then do that and then wash the dishes." And then I'm like, "You know what? Fuck that shit, cause like, I could be gone tomorrow, so let me go get what I wanna get and just have a peaceful rest of the day, and I don't have to worry about doing the dishes or nothing like that. I go, get my food, eat, and then boom, take a shower, get into bed."
I ask because, like I said, I'm turning 40 this year, and especially for black men, but men in general, as you get older, shit starts breaking down faster. Poor lifestyle catches up with you, and this is a prime time to get it right before it's too late. But yesterday, September 18th, my old high school class friend, Brandon Coke, he had a wake today for himself. He passed away a month ago, and he had a wake today, and I couldn't make it. I tried to make it, but I had a lot going on, and so much. My day, and so much was going on after work that I couldn't make it. His wake was like from 4 to 7, which is kind of early. Usually wakes go longer, so I couldn't make his wake, and I can't go to his funeral tomorrow. But thinking about Brandon Coke, rest in peace. Brandon was a dude who was like growing up. He was the class clown, like always joking, always giving positive energy, always smiling, always pushing good energy. And, to see him, die at 40, it's like, damn, like life is short, and I think about grief because I know we all grieve differently. And I have people in my life who've come and go, grandparents, an aunt that was close to me, friends, cousins. I've had various people in my life come and go, so I'm used to death.
Mhm.
I will say I grieve sometimes. It varies. My grief can be very strong for someone. And remember, grief is not just the dead. You can grieve a friendship that's lost. I think we talked about this before. A friendship that's lost, a love that's lost. But I tend to either fixate
I
on
feel
a
like when I
grief
was younger, I didn't
or I
handle it the
accept it fast
way
what
I do
happened and I just
now.
ignore it afterwards
Now, like
or
I was
leave it
saying
alone.
earlier, I don't be caring. I really
Do
don't.
you feel like as you're
And
getting
I don't mean
older
that in like a
and
disrespectful way or
you
nothing
lose
like
people in your
that. I'm
life,
just
whether
like
through friendships or
I'm just
whatever,
so in my
do you feel
own
like you handle it
space
well,
that
or do
like
you feel like
I'm just
it's tough
focusing on
on you?
myself and what I need to get done. That is like, if you still riding with me, you riding with me, and if not, then you're not. And a lot of the times, like there's certain people that I just don't want in my space for certain things because the secret animosity and all that shit is very real. And I think that's why I want to be to myself now even more because it's like I don't want that type of energy around me. So now, like when it comes to like friendships and stuff like that, I'm like again like whatever. But like family too, to be honest, because family could be just as toxic and oh, but like in regards to grief, as in like death, I haven't experienced that. Like I haven't lost anyone close to me, so I really don't know how I will take that. Blessed and cursed because since I don't know how I will take it, I don't know if I will go down in a spiral or what. Which I'm trying not to because God bless both of them, both my parents, but I think they will be the ones that like I will probably lose my shit compared to everyone else. But that's
You're
why,
blessed in that way.
and
You're
it's not to
blessed.
sound fucked up, but I live alone and stuff like that. So I try to live as if I don't have my parents because my
Right.
mentality is okay, I need to learn how to live as if they're not here. So that way, the day that they're not here, I know
Yeah, me
how to
too.
keep living. Don't get me wrong. I still hit them up when I need a little something, like, got downy or whatever. Like,
Mm, I respect that. Makes sense. Yeah, it's a blessing to have them. Oh, it's a blessing. You know, I like what you said about secret animosity because I as a dude, and I'm sure this women go through this too. As a dude, especially when you're younger, there's this competitive thing amongst guys where they feel like they gotta flex on you, they gotta run faster than you, do activities better than you, sports, etc. It's just always a constant competition. And a lot of my guy friends growing up, they would reject the idea that I didn't want to compete with them. Like, I wouldn't give them the satisfaction. You know, like if we're playing ball, of course we're naturally playing
Jealousy, yeah.
ball against each other. But even then, I wouldn't take it to the level that you are. Like so in other words, I've never been the type to try to compete with friends because I feel like through that may come resentment or toxic envy. Jealousy. And I feel like it's better to be someone's cheerleader or supporter. You know what I'm saying? And be influenced by them to do your own thing. Like, yo, my friend has got an A in that test. I need to step my game up and match their speed,
Mhm.
but not on some like I gotta like outshine them, like outshine somebody. As long as you're winning and I'm winning, cool. You know what I'm saying? And even if I'm not winning, I'm still gonna celebrate your win. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like more people today, they don't know how to be friends because they don't know how to put down their ego and be a good supporter. You know what I'm saying?
And
So
it's
when
not
you
even
said
like to
secret
be
animosity, I was
disrespectful
like, I
or
know
like
that
to come
I
from
have an
like a
idea of
hating
what that
type of
means for
place. It's
me
just I
because
I really don't care. Like if you're doing good, great.
I'm
like
not competitive
you
with others.
know, I
I'm
will
more competitive with
congratulate you,
myself.
whatever the
If I
case
had a
is.
certain
Like,
grade last
be
semester, I'm
there
like,
for
I
you
could do better
whenever
than
you
that.
need
So I
something.
try to challenge
But
myself.
like
But
other
like
than
you,
that,
Sin,
like
I'm on the same
do
tip where I
what
don't
you're
care about
doing.
others. You know what I'm saying?
Do what you're doing, do it in your space. Don't try to come to mine because a lot of the times too, I don't really like to, ask people questions on what they're doing and stuff like that because then that opens a door for them to ask you questions. And it's like, I don't want to be asked nothing. Don't ask me what I'm doing. Don't ask me what my next move is. Don't ask me nothing. There you go. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Or at the very least, I don't want my peace disturbed. You know, that's what it is. And a lot of people don't. I remember a year or two ago, you were on a mission to make sure your peace wasn't disturbed. And I think some people who don't understand that may feel slighted at first, but
Productive and protected. You
it's
start,
I want folks to
saying
understand
certain
it's not
things.
a
You never
slight
know what
towards
people could
you,
start
more
wishing
so
upon
it's me
you.
protecting my peace and making sure I'm focused on my goals. You know what I'm saying? Because if I allow you to come into my world, yeah, you may be entertaining in the moment,
Yes.
but am I being productive?
I got more to say.
You know what I'm saying? And protected, productive, and
All right, cool.
protective. I like that. And on that note, we're gonna need a part
Love you
two, or really part
always.
three.
Got your back always
Maybe
too.
sometime next week.
All right. Later.
All right, my love. Oh, you have more to say? So I tell you what, because it's late. I tell you what, jot down some ideas and we'll reconvene sometime next week. All right, mama. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate this. Love you always. You're the best. Awesome. We talk later. All right.